I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats.
Marc Marquez suffered a crash, his bike slipping off the track. The Gresini rider immediately tried to stand up and get back on the bike. Marc Marquez returned to the race, but he lost the front row and had to start from the back of the grid. After trying to push the bike for a while, Marc Marquez eventually ended up back in the pit box with his bike. On the other hand, Bastianini ended up winning the sprint race, followed by Jorge Martin in second and Alex Espargaro in third. Why does Marquez always crash at Silverstone track? Is this sabotage designed? And here's the full news. Gresini racing rider Marc Marquez suffered bad luck in the 2024 British MotoGP sprint race session. The race had just started, the yellow flags were already flying. Two of Valentino Rossi's students, Marco Bezzecchi and Franco Morbidelli, crashed at the first corner. The two riders' bikes lost control and eventually left the race. Fortunately, Marco Bezzecchi's bike did not hit other riders on the track. While two riders had incidents, Jorge Martin led the pack ahead of Bastianini in second place and Alex Espargaro, who started from pole position. While Jorge Martin led the race, there was a tight race between Marc Marquez and Pedro Acosta in the positions behind him. Marc Marquez was seen overtaking Acosta. The duel ended with Marc Marquez taking the fifth position, while Acosta was behind him. As the race progressed, Acosta then changed places to seventh. Back to the competition for pole position, Bastianini tried to stick to Jorge Martin on lap 4. On the next lap, Francesco Bagnaia had the misfortune of crashing at the fourth corner. Bagnaia, who was trying to catch the rider in front of him, slid off the track. The Bagnaia incident benefited Marc Marquez, who was behind him. The Gresini racing driver moved up to fourth position. At the front, Jorge Martin competed closely with Bastianini for the first position. Bastianini finally managed to overtake Jorge Martin, but the Prima Pramac rider continued to chase, not wanting to give up the leading position just like that. Towards the last two laps, Marc Marquez suffered a crash incident, his bike slipping out of the field. The Gresini rider immediately tried to stand up and push the bike again. Marc Marquez was back in the race, but he lost the front row and had to start from the back of the grid. After trying to push the bike for a while, Marc Marquez eventually ended up back in the pit box with his bike. On the other hand, Bastianini finally won the sprint race session, followed by Jorge Martin in second place and Alex Espargaro in third. In other information, Ducati rider Francesco Bagnaia failed to get points in the 2024 British MotoGP sprint race at the Silverstone circuit. Bagnaia, who started the sprint race in second position, fell at turn 4. Despite failing to get points, Bagnaia's position as leader of the standings was indirectly saved by his teammate, Bastianini, who finished first in the sprint race. However, Bagnaia, who has 222 points, still needs to be vigilant because he is only 1 point ahead of Martin. Entering the last 6 laps, Martin was still leading, followed by Bastianini and Alex Espargaro Aprilia. With 5 laps remaining in the race, Espargaro tried to get closer. Bastianini then overtook Martin with 4 laps remaining. Bastianini continued to maintain his position despite being followed by Martin and Espargaro. Marc Marquez took 4th place, followed by Brand Binder Red Bull KTM. Bastianini was still at the front until the race had 3 laps to go. Martin and Espargaro continued to close in, followed by Marquez. Not long after, Marquez was thrown in the gravel at turn 16. 4th position finally disappeared. He tried to restart his bike and get back into contention. However, his progress had to stop. At the front, Bastianini took the lead, followed by Martin and Espargaro, who received a track limit warning. Bastianini maintained his position, followed by Martin and Espargaro and Binder. Bastianini kept the gap from Martin's pursuit until touching the finish line. Finishing first made the rider nicknamed the Beast shift Marc Marquez Gresini to 3rd place. Martin, who finished second after getting an additional 9 points. Bastianini finally managed to overtake Jorge Martin, but the Prima Pramac rider continued to chase, not wanting to give up the leading position just like that. Towards the last 2 laps, Marc Marquez had a crash incident, his bike skidding off the field. The Gresini rider immediately tried to stand up and push the bike again. Marc Marquez was back in the race, but he lost the front row and had to start from the back of the grid. After trying to sprint his bike for a while, Marc Marquez finally ended up returning to the pit box with his bike. On the other hand, Bastianini finally won the sprint race session, followed by Jorge Martin in second place and Alex Espargaro in third.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad. After her there ain't no coming back. Wanna take a run at that. I think she's feeling me, turn it up a few degrees. My imagination of her body gets the best of me. Oh gosh, she's such a tease, bitten lips, bruised knees. I'm addicted to her, need her touching me, cause she got a bad little waist. And we tearing down this place, off the liquor that we chase. Casamigos to the face, baby I don't need no space. Coming closer for a taste, and I'll show you how I make everything just fade away. Cause she's like sex, drugs, cocaine, body so insane. Jealous of the clothing that she wears up on that tight frame. All game, no shame, baby came here to play. I feel like an addict cause she's sex, drugs, cocaine. Got a fine little body and her mind's kinda naughty. They say that once you taste it, you cannot replace it. She could get you high, all the dopamine inside triggers fast once she's naked. Her body's a creation. They say the devil made her for his entertainment, but even he couldn't learn how to contain it. Her high heels make a damn good statement. There is no replacement, a body by Satan. She got a bad little waist, and we tearing down this place. Off the liquor that we chase, Casamigos to the face, baby I don't need no space. Coming closer for a taste, and I'll show you how I make everything just fade away. Cause she's like sex, drugs, cocaine, body so insane. Jealous of the clothing that she wears up on her tight frame. All